As a child, who hasn't dreamed of a favorite doll or a teddy bear coming to life and being a very best friend forever and ever?
He would take Robert the doll everywhere with him. Anything bad or naughty that the boy did, he blamed on Robert the doll.
Hey, campers! Hey, campers, welcome back to Camp Insomnia. Ayo! I'm sorry,
no.
I'm getting over a sickness. Hi, everybody, my name is Zach. I am your head camp counselor.
And I am your head camp counselor, healthy camp counselor now, Devon.
Yes, we are a paranormal and true crime podcast. And if you're new here to camp, welcome to camp. We're happy to have you around this campfire this evening. And if you're not new, wow, you made it so far.
I know. My God, it's been over a year. It's been a long time.
Yeah, literally.
Well, we're going on a year and, 5 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, how cute.
Oh, we're so cute. Yeah, campers. Just an update. I am suffering from being sick.
I know,
I'm
poor
suffering.
thing.
I had a really bad sinus and throat infection, and I might be sniffling a lot, or you'll hear a lot of. No, I don't think you'll hear the cuts in the audio because I edit pretty good, but I'll probably be coughing every now and then, like right now. So I can get that phlegm out. And see, you guys didn't hear that cough, but Devon heard the cough.
I did. Disgusting.
Yes. So what are some updates in our lives since we've last spoken to these campers? What are some life updates that you may have?
I'm going to cut all my hair off. Crisis mode.
Yeah.
No, I want to try doing, I told him, but yeah, for you campers, I want to try doing a faux hawk and see how that turns out, because I'm tired of my fucking hair. I get to this point where I grow my hair out after it being so short, and then I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
I'm going to cut it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then summertime's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be nice and short, and so it'll be nice and breezy, a beautiful cover girl, and you'll be able to,
whip my hair back and forth.
Hair back and forth. Well, it's so funny because it's like every time you cut your hair short, you're like, man, I wish my hair was long. I miss my emo hair and doing this. And then right after that, I'm gonna buzz it off.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. Okay, I can't take it after a while.
I know the vibe. I do it too. No, it's funny because when you sent me that picture, I was like, oh my god, I was gonna do something similar, just not so faux hockey. I'll have to send you a picture later.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, twinsies, besties.
Cute.
Cute. We're cute like that, guys. We're cute like that.
Love it.
Cool. Any other updates?
I don't think so. Probably not. I don't think so. Not right now.
Okay.
Your turn.
My turn. Well, when I'm sick, I've been sick since Monday. And I am just dying. Getting better though. Oh, also, this is my last week at NPC Film. My last day will be this Friday because I start work the following Monday. So when this comes out this Sunday, just know that I start work that Monday. So yeah. So campers, wish me a lot of luck. Not like I need it or anything, but just a lot of luck. I'm really excited. I'm working for Digital Domain as a 3D animator, and more specifically a key animator, which is really nice title. And I'm getting paid a living wage now. It's great.
Yeah.
And what else? What other updates in my life? This weekend, this Saturday, I'm having friends over to have a little a Mexican food party night because a lot of my friends are from France and never had really good Mexican food, or for my friends from Spain never had really good Mexican food. So I'm like, I'm bringing the culture to you. So you're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Chef. All right,
Mr.
I see Chef.
Mr. Chef. Those are all the updates I have in my life right now. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Interesting,
cool.
right? Cool, yeah. Also, campers, if you haven't already guessed it, and also by the intro of this episode was way different than what we normally do, because Devon and I are going to do a little series on cursed and haunted objects. Ooh, spooky.
And if y'all want to send us some good vibes and sage and some crystals to cleanse us, please do, because we're gonna need some help after this.
Yeah, no, honestly, because we're talking about some really like haunted cursed objects that are known just by even like giving them attention or talking about them can cause negative actions to come your way. So
yeah,
I'm not about that. I've lit sage before this, not gonna lie, and some incense.
Did you really?
And I did. Yeah, I did. If you guys don't know, I practice folk magic, and I did it. It's burning right now. I don't know if here. Let me hold it up. I just finished my candle. I did my spell for my health, so the sickness can go away, and protection, because what we're talking about today, I don't want to mess with my life.
And what does Devon have? Absolutely nothing now. Absolutely nothing.
But didn't I give you Palo Santo?
Think about when you gave that to me. Where do you think that is?
Oh. It's in hell. Gotcha. Not being used properly. I hope that has the negative effects that person is using it for right now. The opposite.
Well, it's okay. I work at a store that has a lot of that kind of stuff,
Okay,
so I can
perfect.
still buy it. I have a shift tomorrow. I can go get that stuff to cleanse myself. You just gotta show me how to do it.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I'll show you. Okay, campers. So with today's episode, as it's titled, it's a very famous doll. And yes, we've talked about another famous doll, Harold. But today we're going to be talking about Robert the doll.
Robert, yes.
So spooky. So, and to help with that, campers, if you're watching us on YouTube, if you're listening to us, that's okay too. I'll just describe this friend I'm bringing out. So many of you know, we have your camp mascot, basically. His name is Clarence the doll, and he's very spooky. Is he evil? No. Could he be still? Maybe, but I'm not gonna test that fate, and I'm just gonna keep believing there's nothing in him besides old
he's
cotton.
pretty chill.
Yeah,
he's pretty chill.
So everybody watching, and if you've seen him on Instagram, then you know. But this is Clarence the doll.
Hello, Clarence. Hi. Haven't seen you in a while, buddy.
My name is Clarence. This is Clarence, and the reason why I named him Clarence is because I bought him on clearance.
Clearance.
Yeah, and I was like, perfect. That's perfect name for him. So yeah,
Clarence. I love it.
He's my little composition doll. He has painted eyes. They're not glass, so it just makes it even freaky because his eyeballs are starting to flake. So it's kind of spooky. But he has not haunted everybody, although a lot of people like to say he is. But
it's just because he looks creepy. That's all.
He just looks creepy. I mean, look at that. Look at that ass. Look at that ass.
Oh my god. Do you know how old he is?
I did some research on him, and I found one that was similar to him. And it's funny because I almost bought that one.
Oh my god.
I found one similar. They were selling it, and some of them have the date printed on the back of their neck, and it read, I think, 1931.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it's old. I couldn't find it on him, but it's the same make and model. So
got it.
But I almost bought it because I found it on Etsy. That doll had a missing leg, and I was like, I kind of want it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you remember that. Yeah. Anyway, so Clarence is going to be here, everybody. You won't be able to see him because I put the blur thing in the background. But to the campers listening, grammar, he's really spooky. That's all. His head is flaking. He's got. Yeah, he needs some
balding
lotion.
a little bit. It's okay.
He's got eczema.
Some Rogaine.
He got eczema. Look at that. He got eczema. Look at that.
Oh, don't make fun of him. Poor thing.
No. He's my poor baby, literally. Anyways, campers. So. Ooh, yummy.
You good there, buddy?
I am perfect. Yeah, so without further ado, campers, let's let's
I almost started gagging. Oh my god, I hate you.
let's gather around the campfire.
Lord Jesus. Yeah, and please spit your loogie out behind you, not into the fire, please, because that's disgusting.
No. Oh, then it burned. Imagine the smell.
Stop.
Yeah, make Devon gag.
Stop. Hold on. Okay, I got it. I'm good. Okay,
you got it.
Anyways, grab your blankies, get comfy. If you have a stuffed animal as your dog, go ahead and bring that with you too, because you might need them. Let's see. Tip for camp. I do know a little bit about Robert, so let's see. If you do bring your own dog, besides the stuffed animal, into camp, go ahead and stop by our camp convenience store again after you buy your eyeliner and everything too. And do a little cleanse on him. Make sure he's all good and ready to go. So then while you're sleeping with him in your room, nothing freaky deaky will happen. So you're good.
Exactly. And also a little rule, like, please don't bring possessed items into camp or cursed ones.
Yeah. You could bring like dolls like Clarence. Just cleanse them first.
Just cleanse them first. Yeah, because we're already in a really haunted part of the forest. And we don't need it to be any more spookier than what it already is. So
Exactly.
Because if I find out that your doll can crawl on walls, you bet your ass I'm chucking it into the fire.
We're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, we're gonna have a problem, camper. We'll have a problem. All right, you guys. So today, like I said, we're talking about Robert the doll. So just as a forewarning, I am going to be as respectful as possible to this doll.
Yes.
I have my theories at the end about the doll, but I respect you, Robert. I think you're very handsome, and I really like your sailor outfit. And this is all in good fun.
Yes.
Because I do not need you to send any curses or negativity my way or Devon's way or our camper's way. We're just simply telling your story. And I got all of your information, Robert, from a lovely book that the Fort East Martella Museum in Key West wrote about you. So if you're going to get mad at me for information, you blame them, not me. Great.
Fair.
Cool. I think Robert was like, all right, cool, bet.
I hope so.
I hope so, Jesus Christ. So Robert the doll, he is now 117 years old.
Oh my God, I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he lives at the Fort East Martella Museum in Key West, Florida. But how did this 117-year-old doll end up in a Florida museum? And just why today are we talking about it? Well, because Robert the doll is evil. And I put air quotes because I don't want Robert killing me. Why did I do air quotes around killing me? So before we start, here are some misconceptions said about Robert. So just to clear his name on this platform so he doesn't come for us, Devon.
Okay.
So Robert was not the inspiration for Chucky in Child's Play or its sequels.
Okay.
Robert's hair is not human. And he never jumped into the ocean after setting himself on fire while attempting to burn down a church.
That was a thing?
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So none of those things ain't true.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No misconceptions here.
No misconceptions here. Exactly. So the legend of
I have no idea what the fuck is going on.
So the legend of Robert the doll goes like this, and this will help people who don't know who Robert is. I kind of understand a little bit more about him. So Robert the doll was thought to be created around the turn of the century. He stands about 3 feet tall, is stuffed with straw, covered in felt, and dressed in a sailor suit. The doll has buttons for his eyes, hair that continues to change in color as he ages, and a face that resembles a burn victim.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. Exactly. Robert was given as a gift to a young Key West boy named Eugene Otto, but he liked to be called Gene. And the boy and the doll became inseparable. Some say Robert was a gift of love from a servant who lived in the Otto family home, but others believe he was given by an angry servant who had been mistreated by the Otto family and sought revenge with the gift of a doll cursed with voodoo. So Jean and Robert were constant companions, playing together night and day. Jean even went so far to give Robert his name. Jean was born with the name Robert Eugene Otto, but he went by his middle name as soon as the doll came into his life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Robert's like, you're going to be Robert, I'm going to be Jean.
Cute.
Yeah. Cute.
That's cute.
So when Jean was growing up, his parents would hear two distinct voices coming from the playroom. But when they went to see who was there, they would only find Jean and the doll. His parents became very concerned in Jean's behavior and began scolding him for it. Jean would then defend himself and say, I didn't do it, Robert did it. Some stories also say that Jean's parents would wake up in the middle of the night to hear screams coming from Jean's bedroom, and when they entered, they would see that Robert was holding Jean down in his bed.
Robert was holding Jean down.
Jean down, yeah. So the doll was holding him down in bed, right? Some stories say. Jean would eventually go to school in Paris to study art many years later, where then he would soon meet his wife Anne, who was a concert pianist. Anne would soon be surprised when they arrived to Key West to see that her new husband would be creating a room in the attic just for Robert, giving Robert a wardrobe, a closet, a bed, a furniture scaled for the doll. And just like before, the two, Jean and Robert, would become inseparable.
Wow. Gave him his own luxury life.
Yeah, imagine you being the new wife being like, the fuck is... Who's Robert? And why are we building a bedroom for him?
Yeah,
and a
really.
doll-scaled, like, living area? Oh. Who did I marry?
Right.
Aren't you an artist? Why are you being weird? So... It's said that years later, Jean would then become abusive to Anne. And when called out for his behavior, he would simply say, I didn't do it, Robert did it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Jean would soon pass away in 1974, and Anne moved to Boston and then died a few years later. Anne would leave the doll behind, but would rent out the home. And upon signing the lease, there was a clause. The clause read, Robert must remain the sole occupant of the attic room.
Wow. So even though she questioned him, she still went with it even after he passed away. It wasn't like, all right, he's gone, I'm just getting rid of this little shit.
Yeah, no.
He's not a little shit. He's not a little shit. But like,
yeah, exactly.
She would theoretically.
On the backtrack. He's not a little shit. He's not a little shit. Robert, I'm so sorry.
I'm talking theoretically. This is actually happening,
yeah.
Robert.
Yeah. So no, imagine being a new tenant and you have to see, like, right as you're signing, like, oh, by the way.
In the fine print.
The fine print. There's a doll that lives in your attic. His name's Robert, and he is alive. He has to be the only person that lives in the attic. Okay. No. Well, if it's a good price, might as well. So after this, and with new tenants coming and going, more strange stories would arise. When two men who rented the home said they heard constant noises coming from the attic, and when they went to investigate, they found the doll sitting in different positions with its legs crossed or its arms propped over a chair. A plumber would do work on the home and would hear constant giggling and laughing coming from behind him. When he turned around, he found the doll had moved from one side of the room to another.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, he's like having his own party up there practically.
Yeah, exactly.
Just doing whatever he wants.
He's like, tee-hee-hee, look at that plumber's crack.
Oh my God.
Another man who rented the home claimed the doll had locked him in the attic for a week, and also claimed that the doll had given him yellow fever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so soon a family would purchase the home after Anne's death. A 10-year-old girl would soon befriend the doll Robert, but that didn't last long. She woke up one night to find Robert sitting on her face trying to smother her.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So over 30 years...
They just want to be friends.
Exactly. She's like, Robert, I love you. He's like, I'm going to kill you, bitch.
Yeah, damn.
I'm going to end your fucking life.
Oh, no.
Love you too, Robert. You're so silly. So quirky.
So sad.
So it is sad. So over 30 years later, she still swears, this little girl, over 30 years later, She still swears the doll was trying to kill her. The little girl's father would then lock Robert in a trunk in the attic where the doll remained for many years. Shortly after he locked Robert in the attic, the man would then die from carbon monoxide poisoning in his car parked in front of the house.
Wow, that's so weird. Robert was in an enclosed space. He was in an enclosed space. He said, "This is what it feels like."
Exactly, and you did, murked him.
That's crazy. No. Oh my god. No. Oh my god.
Robert,
That's so
hilarious.
crazy.
No, it is crazy.
Stop.
Robert would then be eventually donated to the Fort East Martello Museum, but when arriving to the museum, the staff was terrified of Robert, so they kept him locked in the back room covered with a sheet. If visitors wanted to see Robert, they had to make appointments, but the staff would constantly make excuses to be elsewhere during the visit or simply would not show.
I mean, they don't want to risk it. I don't blame them.
Exactly. Like, oh, you want to come at 2 o'clock to the doll? Yeah, sure, I'll be here. 2 o'clock rolls. Like, oh, sorry, my daughter, she's sick. I gotta go. It's like,
I gotta go.
Aren't you single? You don't have any kids? What are you talking about? I got one last week. Duh.
I just came down with COVID. I gotta go.
I came down with COVID. Sorry, I came down with a child. Sorry, I gotta go. Imagine that was the thing.
Oh no.
Now, although Robert had been removed from his lovely attic home, the paranormal activity still continued. Phones would be flown off the receivers, doors would slam, books thrown, negative energy, burning sensations, and always feeling like you were being watched from the attic. Ghost tours that would come by the house would say that sometimes they would see a small black shadow the size of the doll in the turret window where the attic was.
Yeah.
Beside the weird poltergeist activity, guests also report seeing a ghostly female. They describe a woman in a wedding dress seen walking down the flight of stairs. Some say that this female presence would sit at the foot of guests' beds, and a glowing blue orb would be seen circling the exterior of the home, and sometimes would materialize into a beautiful woman who stood watching from a second-floor balcony.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So besides Robert, now there's this woman ghost floating around.
Interesting. But like you would think it wouldn't, well, unless it's something that's disguising itself, you wouldn't think it would bring something a little more positive. Everything else has been so negative energy and bad shit happening.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so then a rumor started to spread that Robert the doll was getting stronger, and that the female ghost was the ghost of Anne Otto, which was his wife, Jean Otto's wife. Yeah. And then Anne Otto was only there at the home to protect anyone from the harmful attacks Robert might do to its guests.
Oh, wow. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Robert would then be placed on display for the whole world to see at the Fort East Martello Museum. Due to the high number and volume of people wanting to meet Robert, the museum put him on display in a case among other dark artifacts. But as soon as Robert was on display at the museum, the activity skyrocketed. Doors in the museum would slam, lights would turn on and off. People began to report issues with their cameras after taking photos of the doll. Some people claimed that after developing their film after taking pictures of Robert, that it would be distorted, blurred, or damaged, whereas the rest of their film was perfect. So just only the pictures of Robert.
Yeah, that's a common thing. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, once you're giving that, you're giving it more attention, so you're bringing more energy into it, which creates obviously more activity, as we know, especially with us going to Zach's museum, Zach Baggins' museum, and seeing how that stuff can go down. So it's interesting too how it all comes about.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. So, yeah. People who don't know this, the youngins, yeah, there was film cameras where you would have to put a spool of film into a camera to take a picture. I know it's a concept for a lot of you young people, but Devon and I were still around during that time.
Oh my god.
Shocker, I know.
You know how many undeveloped cameras I used to have and they just got thrown away? It's so sad. I
have a couple film cameras that take film, and I need to get them processed. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Look at us, we're still old.
Relics.
Relics. So one crazy story about Robert is that when he went under restoration, They cleaned not only Robert, but the suit he wore as well. When they were finished, they put him back out into his locked display case. But the next morning, an employee found small footprints in the dust of the museum floor. When they went to Robert's locked case, Robert's fleshly clean feet were now covered in dust. When the employee saw this, he heard Robert giggle from inside the case.
So mischievous.
Yeah. Here's somebody so mischievous.
Because it's like it's like a little kid, like, oh,
yeah, honestly, yeah. Dirty feet. So soon people will not only be.
What?
My lamp just turned on, just like last time.
Did it?
Yeah.
I can't tell because the lights on.
Because I have
the windows.
I have the window, and then I have a small desk lamp. But my tall tower
just turned on.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bothering me. I look good on camera, so I'm not worried about it. That was weird. Okay, moving on. Thanks, Robert.
I swear to God, if any of these lights come on in my room, then I know something is wrong.
You're gonna be like stroke out.
I might.
So, sorry, campers. Spooky things going on. So soon people would not only begin experiencing weird poltergeist activity around Robert, besides like their cameras not working, but they would start experiencing serious signs of bad luck. Visitors would then begin to blame Robert for their misfortunes after meeting him. So a letter to Robert reads, and I have two of them here for you. This one reads, "Hello, Robert. In early September of last year, 2011, my family and I visited you in Key West for the holiday weekend. We heard stories of you and decided to pay our respects to you on our way out of town. We asked for permission to take your picture and nothing strange happened. And although we didn't voice our doubts out loud, perhaps you can sense that we are not real believers in you and your powers. Well, it has been about 7 months since our visit, and since then my life has been one nightmare after another. Within a couple of weeks of returning home, it started with my kitten suddenly dying, my bank account being fraudulently used twice, losing a substantial amount of money, having my bird die, my son falling and fracturing his skull, the hotel we stayed at on vacation was set on fire, lost my job, and now on the verge of being laid off of my new job, being forced out of my home, and my husband and I have been separated. I have been debating on writing this letter for weeks, but I'm not at the point where I'm desperate. I truly believe in you and the powers you possess, and I kindly ask that you remove any negative surrounding me and my family and give us your blessings. I have also removed the pictures that I have taken from you from Facebook. Thank you." And then the person's name was blacked out.
I'm shook right now because that is not a coincidence. I don't care what anyone says. That is not a fucking coincidence.
Yeah, that's a lot of bad luck.
Especially for your fucking bank account to fraudulent twice in only that short of time. That's insane. And then for 2 pets to die, that's insane. Oh my God.
Your kid getting a fractured skull, that's insane. Losing a job and then on the verge of losing your new job and then your husband leaving you. Yeah, that's a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot taken.
I'm like, wait a minute.
You're like, what?
That is something we could talk about later.
Okay, we can talk about later. Okay. This next letter reads, "Dear Robert, I have never met you in person before, but I've been researching you, and at first did not believe in you. When I made fun of you to my friend and then believed, and gained the highest respect for you. Since I have made fun of you, I accidentally broken an extremely valuable family heirloom, and I am always really close to breaking things. I keep thinking that you're going to begin haunting me, and I keep expecting to see you right in front of me, and to be honest, it scares me. My dog keeps barking strangely. Can animals sense spirits? I just wanted to say that I'm so sorry. I find you absolutely fascinating, and I'm definitely coming to visit you. I could bring you a present if you wanted. I'd like to take your picture, but I'm going to ask for your permission first and apologize to you in person. If the curse is on me, please lift it. I don't want to break any more things, and that heirloom was really old. My mom was really upset. Thank you," and then anonymous.
That's interesting too, because I mean, it's a common thing that happens to people when they are such firm non-believers and then they fuck around with all this stuff. Do you remember when we went to Zach's museum and that group ahead of us was like, just so funny, we're just Vegas tourists being fucking dumb, none of this shit is real. And remember when we all walked out together and the look on their fucking faces?
Yeah, or the people just like randomly passing out too.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, you really can't mess around with this kind of stuff. There's so much out here to say that this stuff really is real and that you cannot fuck around. You cannot. And you're just bringing everything onto yourself at that point once you do. Yeah. You are releasing your rights.
Yeah. Well, you're being disrespectful. So, of course, whatever that thing is going to be like, well, then fuck you too, bitch.
Yeah,
I'm going to wreck your day.
Yeah.
You don't think I'm real? Watch this. Fractured your skull.
That's why I don't feel bad for people that do shit like that, because I'm like, fine, you're asking for it.
Yeah, you're asking for it. Yeah, literally.
And look what you have to do now. Beg for forgiveness.
Yeah, literally.
Not okay. Not okay.
No, it's not okay. So, now I'm gonna get into like the historical stuff about Robert and the Otto family. Those were kind of like the stories that people have said about the doll, kind of like what the legend says about the doll. But now we're gonna get into like more like historical side of things, just to give some backstory.
Okay.
So here's some fun facts about the Otto family. So Robert Eugene Otto, also known as Gene, he likes to go by Gene. So the Otto family came from Prussia, which is now Germany, and both Gene's father and grandfather practiced medicine on the island in Key West. His family owned 2 drugstores in the community. People who were doctors back then, they didn't make a lot of money, so they opened up their own drugstores to make up for the lost income in treating people. Gene loved to paint since he was a kid, and it wasn't weird at that time when he was a young boy to have a doll. There wasn't a stigma around it as there was when you and I were growing up. It was very common. It was a toy. It wasn't oh, he's girly because he has a doll, whatever.
Or like the quote unquote dolls that were made when we were kids were like, here's a WrestleMania doll, or stuff like that. More geared towards quote unquote guys, whatever.
Guy dolls and then girl dolls.
Yeah, dumb shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, Gene's wife, Anne, would claim later that the doll was Gene's best friend growing up because he didn't have any real friends. That's a burn. But also, it's kind of true. So Annette Parker Otto, which is Gene's wife, she came from a wealthy family who raised her in Boston, Massachusetts. Anne would then go to school for being a perfect housewife called the Garland School of Homemaking. And so the Garland School of Homemaking, you basically went there to be a housewife. They taught you how to cook, how to clean, how to... Hello, husband. Welcome back from work. Would you like a beer and a cigarette? And look, I made this pot roast. You don't want it? You just want a hot dog? Well, fuck me, I guess. No problem. I will go make you a hot dog and a TV dinner. Let's watch the game,
Oh, my God. I'm so sad.
That's the different time, people. But, Jesus Christ. Ooh. So she was also a pianist and left Boston and moved to Europe to chase her dreams of music. And this is where she would soon meet her soon-to-be husband, Gene. And then Thomas Osgood Otto and Minnie Elizabeth Otto were his parents. So Thomas, the father, was in the same medicine field as his father, but expanded the family practice with drugstores, as we know. He was also born January 11th of 1865 and passed on March 29th of 1917. And when he passed, Gene would only be 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then his wife, Minnie, she was born in the Bahamas on March 28th of 1868. And she was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Otto home today is now a bed and breakfast. It went through a couple phases. It was owned by a couple of different families, and then it was you rented a room, kind of like an apartment situation, and now it's a bed and breakfast. But you can go tomorrow, if you wanted to, you can go stay at the Otto family home, which is now recognized as the artist's home due to Gene being an artist. You can see the attic when you stay there, but it has now been converted to storage, and they do have an effigy of Robert the doll in the attic.
Really?
Yeah. So
wow.
If you guys want to go check out this place, it's really pretty. It's a pretty house. You can go to artisthousekeywest.com to see the rooms and the history of things. But they do show a picture of the attic, and it's just filled with boxes and this really weird makeshift Robert doll that just looks like it was made out of paper mache.
I'm curious. I kind of want to see it.
Yeah. So artisthousekeywest.com. It's pretty. It's like a little Victorian pink house. It's cute.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I looked into staying in the turret room underneath the attic, and it is like $300 a night.
I mean, I'm not surprised. They're trying to... They can make a little extra money off of this because
you guys want to send us money so we can go to Key West and go stay at this haunted room?
I mean, shoot, we could do a lot more in Key West than just this shit.
That's true. Key West is beautiful.
I want to see the makeshift doll.
Just look up. I can send you the picture later.
Okay.
Just look up Artist House Attic. That's not the one. Just look up art. No. Yeah, that's Robert. But look up Artist House Attic. Because it doesn't really look like Robert. It looks like this bootleg version of Robert.
Okay.
Here, I'll look it up with you.
Sorry, I'm curious. I need to see.
No, you're good. Okay, so how was Robert made? So Robert seems to have been made in the first 5 years of the 20th century, with 1904 being the year he was most likely made. Most theories suggest that he was made by servants in the Otto family home, or that voodoo had a play in the role. Although these stories played a role in his legend, where he was actually made isn't that interesting. So Robert the doll is a clown who was crafted in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wasn't made by a servant. He wasn't gifted by a servant. That will play later on in the case, but
okay.
He was originally a doll that looked like a clown, and it was made in Germany. So back in the 1880s, a seamstress by the name of Marguerite Steiff began making animal felt toys and noticing children loved to play with them. And so then she went on to design and create other popular animal-shaped toys. Children just bought them up like crazy. So a few years later, she was like, I can make some money off of this. So her and her brother formed the Steiff Company. They are best known for the invention of the teddy bear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, fun fact. And also, they can take credit for their creation of Robert the doll. How do they know this? Robert was made by this company well after careful examinations of Robert when they were doing all that refurbishment on him. They noticed he was missing his right ear. They determined Robert Otto, right, Eugene, probably ripped it off when he was playing with the doll. But what makes that important is that Steiff would put a button on the right ear of their toys to prevent counterfeits from being passed off as theirs. And his right ear that was missing would have the button on it. And to confirm this further, other dolls from Steiff would be found in auctions that were identical to Robert the doll.
Okay.
So he looked just like him.
Yeah.
And let me send you a picture real quick on Facebook of what he looked like. Yeah, so that's what he looked like.
Oh, wow. That's how he looked originally?
Yeah.
Wow. Totally different. He definitely...
Well, he aged. I mean, he's 117 years old. And then, too, he was a
Yeah.
doll that was played with often, so he's not going to look exactly like he did back then.
Oh, I kind of like both of his outfits. Like, the sailor outfit is really cute, too.
Yeah, the sailor outfit is cute.
So did the sailor outfit come into play after the restoration? Or...
I'll mention that later.
Okay.
You'll know. I'll get to there.
Okay.
So they also mentioned that Robert was made to be the scale of a real child. So Robert at the time,
3 feet. Yeah.
So Robert at the time was a very expensive doll, and only a person with money could be able to afford the doll, or with stature. So it's speculated that on a trip to Germany, Gene's parents brought the doll back with them to Key West as a gift.
Okay.
But But you know, this story of him being brought back, Robert being brought from Germany to Florida as a gift to Eugene, contradicts the legend, because the story goes that Robert was given to Jean by an angry servant. Well, Jean's mother, Minnie Otto, she came from the Bahamas. She grew up in the Bahamas. She was born and raised there. She came from there. And she's a white Bahamian, I think is how you say it.
Okay.
But verbal stories are told that Jean had received this gift from a Bahamian woman, a gift from a black girl, a gift from a servant, and a doll crafted by voodoo by a mistreated slave. So due to like verbal stories being passed down, of course the story becomes like misconstrued. But there's truth in the legend, because technically a woman from the Bahamas who gave him this gift. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just got elaborated. So
yeah, it was literally it got twisted. Gave it a spooky factor. Yeah,
exactly.
It got twisted. It became spooky.
It went from a Bahamian woman to a black girl, a servant, and then a doll created with voodoo, right, by a mistreated slave. So
yeah.
Also, as you mentioned, you know, Robert's sailor outfit isn't his original outfit. It was, you know, a Harlequin clown suit with pom-poms like the picture I just showed you. So an employee at the museum is quoted saying, "The story I heard was that Jean Otto had a doll when he was a little boy that was a mirror image of him. It was supposedly made to look like Jean. It wore the same clothes. I've seen it. It had several outfits, supposedly the same outfits that Jean had when he was a little boy. All the bad things that Jean did were blamed on the doll, so that the doll took on all kind of negative karma of Jean as he was growing up. He was a bad doll. Later on, when things happened in the house, it was supposedly the spirit of the doll. Jean would always say he hadn't done it. The doll had done it. Everything that was negative was put onto the doll."
So it's like it was brought onto him itself. Like, yeah, he was adding the negativity into the doll already, kind of creating its own. Yeah, its own
person, exactly. So that's a theory.
You know, a kid doesn't want to get in trouble. Of course, they're gonna be like, "No, he did it."
Yeah, he did it. It was a doll. It was a doll, Mom. I didn't hide your tampons. It was a doll. That would suck. All you ladies out there, Papa Pussy like this. Sorry. Where that came from. So many mediums and people who are sensitive to the spirit world would flock and stay at the artist's house and hope to communicate with Robert or other spirits there. A German couple would stay in the turret suite, and the wife claimed that she felt a presence that grew stronger and stronger with every step up to the room's staircase. A psychic would stay in the home, and she would later approach the front desk and tell a manager she doesn't like the new drapes. And it just so happened that they did change the drapes in the home to a new color.
What the hell?
So I'm assuming that's Anne Otto's spirit talking with the psychic, being like, "Girl, they changed my drapes to this ugly ass color. You need to tell them to change it."
Can you go tell them? Can you talk to them, please?
Some spooky shit's happening right now, Devon. It's freaking me out. What? So my candle burnt out, right? It finally burnt out on my little spell, and it just reignited. Like, not even kidding. Like, dead ass. I wish I had that on camera. Because that shit was out. It was out. And look, it's lit. Hold on. It was out. I watched it go out.
Okay, debunk that real quick. You physically saw that all
I did.
Burn out smoke coming out of it already?
Well, it's not smoke because it's done.
Well, you know, like, but when the wick goes out, the little smoke comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was out.
And that happened.
Yeah, it was out. And I just saw it, like, literally, that's why it caught my eye, because it just went.
That was weird though, because you weren't talking about Robert right now. You were talking about
Anne.
You're talking about you're talking about Anne.
Anne's like, "That's right, I hated those drapes."
The confirmation.
I hated those drapes. Confirmation.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay, I'm just gonna let it do its thing.
Yeah. Just,
Okay.
just let it be. Just let it be.
Spooky things. So yeah, I just keep looking at this candle. So she didn't like the drapes. A woman later would purchase the artist's house in the 1980s, and she would state, "When I would walk up the steps, there would sometimes be a cold wind, and the windows would shake as though there was a storm going on. I didn't find it frightening. I would say things like, 'Don't worry, I'm a friendly spirit, and I wish I had been more aware.'" Which, how could you not be freaking frightened by your shutters on your window violently shaking like a storm? You being like, "Oh, I'm nice. Don't worry about me."
Well, like us, like how we're trying to play off the candle right now. I mean,
yeah, but I'm still pretty spooked. At least it's not to the extent of like, my drapes violently shaking because it's windy in here,
Yeah.
Don't shake.
Stop it.
So although it isn't proven that Robert didn't come from an angry servant or a voodoo practitioner, there is at least one theory involving a mistreated servant that may have been the source of all the legends.
Okay.
Right. Because we know that it wasn't given to him by a slave or a servant. It was given to him by his parents, his mom, more specifically, from their trip. Yeah. So William Abbott, he immigrated from Key West to the West Indies before 1980, and his wife, Emmeline. William was a biracial person, Emmeline was black, and both had lineage traced to the Bahamas. William started as a laborer in Key West, and Emmeline was a laundress. At some point, William became a servant for Dr. Joseph Otto when he became blind and would drive him around. They would soon become very close and have a very close bonded relationship. William remained by Dr. Otto's side until his death in 1885, at which Thomas Otto, which is Jean's father, hired William as a clerk at the family pharmacy. So this servant, William, that was now this clerk at the family pharmacy, would continue to work for Jean's father until Joseph Otto died in 1916. William even helped transport the body after he had passed to show just how close he was to the family and how much they trust in him. There is speculation that maybe he was a little too close.
Oh.
Although there isn't anything stating that Thomas Otto had an affair with William Abbott's wife, Emmeline, to who she may have given birth to his child, but there are documents out there that there is cause for speculation. So there is thoughts that Jean's dad and, William's wife, they were kikiing, kissing, fucking, and had a kid, and maybe that kid died or went missing. Yeah.
What the hell?
That's why they were really close.
Drama. Holy shit.
Yeah, the drama. So these are some of the documents out there for cause of speculation. So Minnie Otto, Thomas's wife, Jean's mom, she wrote a journal acknowledging that many women wished they were wed to her doctor husband, and they resented Minnie because she didn't come from a wealthy stock. Thomas Otto, father, advised him not abstinence, but prophylactic care for his health against venereal diseases. Emmeline Abbott gave birth to and lost a child between 1900 and 1910. And again, Thomas was still alive during that time. Emmeline Abbott attempted to initiate a lawsuit against the Otto family after Thomas Otto's death. Minnie Otto chose to be buried outside of the Otto family plot. So it might have happened. An affair might have happened.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, all this is speculation, but dozens of people All of this is speculation, but dozens of people have reported encountering the spirit that resides in Robert. And they say that the spirit is a biracial person or a light-skinned black child.
I see. Saying that they're
like bastard child.
I was gonna say their bastard child is now that spirit
in the doll. Yeah. So here's some questions.
That would make sense as to why it was trying to kill Jean.
Exactly. So is Robert the spirit of the dead child born of William and Emmeline Abbott, or a child of an affair between Thomas Otto and Emmeline? Did Emmeline use voodoo as a way to remain close to her only child by trapping its spirit in the doll? And was Jean attached to the doll because it contained the spirit of his half-brother, half-sister?
Whoa, that's interesting.
Didn't know that, huh? That's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I need to switch gears on this one. Oh, this is the tea right now. I need good coffee.
This is the tea. So a psychic... Okay, you're going to laugh at this name. I'm sorry. Everybody going to laugh at this name. The person has a very interesting name.
Okay.
A psychic sensitive who goes by the name of Poochie Myers.
Cute. Love it.
Love it,
that
right?
for her.
Love that Poochie. Goes by the name of Poochie Myers, who took care of the house for a short while during the period in the 80s, described the ghost of a little girl who likes to sit on the staircase, scrunched up in a little white old-fashioned nightgown. Also has long, light brown curls and about 5 years old and seems very angry about something. Could this be that child?
Separate from not being in Robert.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean,
I don't know.
both theories
I don't know.
would fit.
Yeah,
both theories fit.
It fits. So here's another incident that has happened in the artist's home. I'm going to butcher her name. Jessica Schreckengost Nauman. So it's a funky name. She used to be the manager at the artist's house when it was like a bed and breakfast. Okay. Anyways, her name means frightened by ghosts.
What the fuck? What a weird coincidence.
Yeah, what a weird coincidence, right? So she had her fair share of poltergeist and ghostly activity while working there, but one incident stood out from the rest. Jessica purchased half a dozen bright yellow decorative lemons for the guest house back in 2010. And these lemons sat in a glass bowl near the reception desk. Suddenly, these lemons started disappearing. So one at a time, they would disappear only for them to be returned by the guests as they headed to their breakfast or during checkout. None of the guests provided an explanation. They would just simply return the lemons. Like, I found this in my room. Here. Here's the lemon.
What the
She'd
fuck?
be like, did you take it? Like, no, it just was in my room.
What the hell?
So Jessica eventually put the lemons away due to them constantly disappearing. A month later, the artist's house received a package with no name and no return address, and inside the package was just one of those lemons. So several months later, a guest asked if she had seen the letter to Robert at the East Martello Museum, and Jessica asked, "What letter?" And this is the letter. January 5th, 2011. Dear Museum Curator, it has taken some time to write this letter, but I feel that I must share our experience that we have encountered with Robert the doll. We visit beautiful Key West every summer in June, and we always stay at the artist's house bread and breakfast where Eugene grew up with Robert. We have visited Robert at the museum many times, and I've read all the letters posted on the wall from tourists stating the bad luck encountered when not asking Robert's permission to take his picture. We have asked his permission, have taken pictures, and have never had a problem. We dismissed this as just a tale until our last visit. While staying at the Turret Suite, which is the really expensive room I was telling you about, in the artist's house, we experienced something different. Out of curiosity, we wondered what the attic looked like above us, where Robert was discovered before he came to the museum. Mm-hmm. So my husband and I slowly climbed the attic steps and opened the hatch door. We poked our heads through, peering through the dark, taking pictures, hoping to photograph an orb or something. Anything? No. All we saw was old furniture stored away. The next day, we checked out of our room and did last-minute shopping. While walking around town, I began to feel very ill, feverish, and my legs began tingling with pain. We got into our car and headed home. We made the 5-hour trip home with no problems. The next day, I woke with an unusual pain. I lifted my shirt, and my side torso had a serious painful rash. I went to the doctor and was diagnosed with shingles.
Oh no!
Yeah. The following day, my husband began to feel ill, doubled over in cramps and pain, and he was diagnosed with kidney stones.
Oh no. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, and those are terrible. Now you may be wondering, what does this have to do with Robert? All this seems to fit together in the event that followed. While finally unpacking our bags, I got to the bottom of my suitcase, and wrapped up in one of my shirts was a plastic artificial lemon. You see, in the hallway at the artist's house was a beautiful bowl with artificial lemons. You see, in the hallway at the artist's house, there was a beautiful bowl with these lemons set out as a display. I remember seeing them and commenting on this display. Somehow, one single lemon made its way into my suitcase. I placed the lemon on the counter at home. A few weeks went by, and my husband and I were still very ill. And then it dawned on me, was this Robert's way of getting back at us for goofing around in his home and not asking to enter the attic? I immediately placed the lemon back in the box and mailed it back to the artist's house with no explanation. I did not want him to think that we had taken it. Once that lemon was out of our home, I instantly began feeling better. The pain from the shingles subsided, and my husband passed his kidney stones. You may read this letter and think, wow, what a crazy story. It is crazy, but it is true. I write this letter in hopes that you'll post this on your wall near Robert, and it will serve as a reminder that Robert has this thing about him. He is intriguing, devilish, mischievous, and still playing tricks to this day. Signed, True Believers.
Wow. Yeah, because, I mean, they were kind of being a little disrespectful. They were just like, they got a little too curious. Yeah.
Bit him in the ass. But how weird that one lemon was placed, wrapped in their t-shirt. In their bag.
How crazy.
That is crazy.
How
So, June 24th, 1974 was the day that Gene Otto would pass away. Mm-hmm. With his death, many people praised him for his accomplishments in life, that mainly including his art, because he had such a huge impact in Key West as a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
His passing wasn't fast, though. He did suffer from Parkinson's disease, which is a degenerative disorder of their central nervous system. Mm-hmm. In an article run by the Sun Sentinel, they say, in the months preceding his death, as his health failed, he spent most of the time in the attic room talking to Robert.
Wow.
Yeah, that's freaky.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Anne, his wife, and Gene, they weren't like a lover's paradise. They would butt heads a lot. Anne would have to often enter rooms 5 minutes behind Gene Otto, so that he was the center of attention. And also, she was told that she couldn't play the piano too loud because of how talented she was, because people would flock to their house to listen to her play.
Wow.
Yeah,
so he was very self-centered.
Yeah, Gene had to be the star.
Oh,
very much.
God.
Yeah. So when Gene had passed, Anne found out that she had been written out of the will. And all Gene and Anne's belongings were now Gene's sister's, Misfa. I think that's how you say her name. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. What a surprise, right? So Anne begged his sister. Her name is weird. Mizpah. Mizpah. Mitzpah. Mizpah. Yeah.
Mizpah.
So Anne begged his sister Mizpah, like, please let me keep the house. Like,
yeah,
you keep the house. So Mizpah agreed, but that was because Gene had indeed left her the house, and just the house. Nothing in the house, just the house. So all the furniture, that was his sister's. So
God.
With that, Mizpah took all the valuable antiques out of the home, which would have freed Anne from money troubles. But due to her money troubles, she sold the house to William Gazer and moved back to Boston, Massachusetts. When asked about the arrangements of her husband's gravesite, she made a point of not giving the deceased artist any satisfaction. She had Gene's plot covered in concrete rather than brick, and quoted saying, "It's good enough for him."
I mean, I don't blame her.
I don't blame her either. It's fuck. So Anne would then give Robert the doll to William Gazer before she left, saying that doll was Gene's best friend. Of course, he never had any other friends. God damn. The drama, the shade in the story is amazing.
Oh my God.
So two men who would rent the artist house in the mid 1970s had frequent encounters with the doll. One of them quotes saying, "There was a constant noise coming from the room. Sometimes it was a little kids laughing, and other times it was like someone rummaging around. When it first started happening, we would go upstairs to check it out, but always found nothing. It was only after a half dozen times that we realized the doll had moved. At first, we blamed each other and laughed it off as a practical joke. Sometimes the doll's head would be looking in a different direction. Other times, its arms would be propped up around the chair, and once its legs were even crossed. It started happening with greater frequency, and we realized this wasn't a joke." So they would soon invite media Malcolm Ross to see the doll in his room. Ross felt as if he was entering some kind of strange force field. He's quoted saying, "It was like a metal bar running down my back. At first, when we walked through the door, the look on his face was like a little boy being punished. It was as if he was asking himself, who are these people in my room and what are they going to do to me? There was some kind of intelligence there. This doll was listening to us."
Yeah.
Ross would then go on to say that he would see Robert's face contort to show anger and resentment.
Interesting. I mean, I'm wondering if he's just really a sensitive medium where he can see, like, physically those kind of
things, yeah.
Features changing.
Yeah.
Really
So the home would then be owned in 1974, so just a couple years later, by Myrtle Reuter. I'm gonna say Reuter. They would be the caretaker of Robert. They went to the extent of even sitting Robert on the porch beside them during the evenings. The Reuters would then sell the artist's house in 1980, and they took Robert with them to their new home on A. Von Pfister Street in Key West. The family would often dress Robert up and spend Christmas with the doll. Regardless of the strange encounters they had with the doll, they treated him like family. It was at this new home from 1980 until 1994 when he was then donated to the East Martella Museum. So, yeah, you have a question?
No, sorry, I was just thinking, I'm surprised he didn't, like, retaliate more. Even I know that you said that they had some weird stuff happen, but like, bad enough for them to be like, ooh, he don't like this. He don't like being here. You know? Because they took him out of his home.
While. Yeah. He's there for what, 1980 to 1994? What is that, like 14 years?
Yeah, so I mean, maybe he was okay with just the company and how they treated him.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's interesting.
So on August 18th of 1994, the former Key West Art and Historical Society Assistant Director, Joe Pies, was called into his office because a lady at the front desk was wanting to donate an artifact. This lady is quoted saying, "This is Robert. He's part of the Otto family. I can't stand him being in my house anymore. He's haunted."
Oh, she gave up. Never mind.
Yeah. Joe asked him, are you sure you want to give this away and not keep it? Because he was very valuable. Like, you could sell this for a lot of money, lady. She didn't want to sell it. She just wanted to exchange it. She just wanted it out of her possession. So she quotes saying, "That doll has to leave the house." She would insist, and then Reuter 3 months later, after donating the doll, would die.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wait, why did it? I'm wondering why it turned around or like escalated so quickly towards the end, because it seemed like she was made him really part of the family. Yeah. Wow. What the hell?
I know, right? So here is another letter. Dear Robert, I would like to share my story with all the Robert fans. This is my second trip to Key West, and I got married on Smathers Beach last year and returned this year for our 1-year wedding anniversary. I saw Robert last year on the ghost tour and quote-unquote tested the picture story about Robert first. I did not ask to take the picture, right? She wanted to test the theory.
I know.
She goes, "I lost all my pictures, including our wedding pictures, the very next morning." Yeah.
Oh, well, she tested it and it worked.
It worked.
God, how dumb though.
On this trip, I brought Robert peppermint candy. My husband and I were the only two in the room with Robert. I showed him the candy and placed it on the wall behind him. The lights in Robert's room all went out for a few seconds. Enough time for me and my husband to look at each other in amazement and look back at Robert. My reacting was teary happiness to know that we were being thanked and shown such a strong reaction to our presence from Robert. Thank you, my friend, and we are looking forward to our next visit. XOXO.
I mean, take that as it is, I guess. I mean, I would you take that as a thank you? I don't know. I
wouldn't take it as a thank you. I'd be like,
I think he wants you to leave.
This is spooky. Enjoy the peppermint. Don't let it get stale, though. Yeah. And also, she's Jasmine Richardson. XOXOXO.
Stop. Stop.
Clearly not.
That's weird. I just find it really interesting that they're like, oh, he took it as a thank you. Like,
yeah.
That doesn't sit with me right. Something feels weird about that.
Yeah, to each his own, I guess. So one theory, campers, is that the doll known as Robert contains a spirit of the child born to Emmeline, Abbott, and Thomas.
Yeah.
Otto. The spirit may have entered the doll on its own accord because of the similarities between the doll and the human form. Mm-hmm. There is also the possibility that the child spirit was contained in the doll with a voodoo spell performed by its grieving parents. So both William and Emmeline.
Yeah.
The second theory is that Robert and Jean are one and the same. Did Jean project so much energy on the doll as a child that it took a life of its own?
Yeah.
And if that's the cause of Jean's... If that's the case, is Jean's spirit joining the doll as a lifelong companion in the afterlife, residing in the museum? So is Jean's spirit also attached to the doll? A third theory is that the doll is nothing more than a legend, and that people keep making up wild stories for this inherently creepy doll.
Nope, don't believe that.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So the author she writes this in the book, and I'm just going to read it. And it's quoted, a note of caution.
Okay.
It is my hope that you will consider the wilder aspects of Robert the Doll with a healthy dose of skepticism. You certainly should not blindly believe in the abilities of a doll to move on its own and cast curses. I was skeptical the first time I met Robert, but he wasted no time making me a believer. After years of interaction with Robert, I have reached a certain comfort level and thought I was safe. Nothing could have been farther from the truth. In process of completing this book, I lost 4 hard drives. The Apple techs were able to recover everything except the book manuscript each time. Backups of the manuscript also disappeared. Multiple mediums advised me to purchase a fireproof safe for my valuables while working on this project. I've been told Robert will give me cancer if he doesn't approve. Over the years, I have been yanked from my bed, suspended in mid-air, and gone through different aspects of possession. I can't say that Robert is responsible, but each incident happened while I was working on the book. If the version you are reading feels rushed at points, it is due to the fact that strange things are happening once again as the writing of this book nears completion. There's a thin line between possession and possessions. I urge you not to cross that line.
Wow, she's very brave for finishing it, but
yeah,
is it worth it though to bring this all onto yourself?
Yeah, honestly. So, I'll mention this at the end, but I have the place that you need to write to if you want to write to Robert.
Oh, okay.
I'll mention it at the end, but let's get into some spooky stuff. So that's kind of like the history and the legend of Robert for you campers. Now, there have been investigations on Robert, and honestly, there's not that many out there on YouTube. But our most famous ghost adventure, Zach Bagans, got to meet him. So, and Ghost Adventures Deadly Possession Season 1, Episode 1. I tried to find the bootleg online. I couldn't. I had to pay for it. I didn't. But I did find a clip. So if you guys don't know, Ghost Adventures has a spin-off show called Deadly Possessions. And basically, Zach Bagans invites people to come in and bring in their cursed or haunted items and that have like a lot of negative history or energy behind it. And then Zach will then interview those people who own them. And then sometimes those people will then give those artifacts to Zach.
Yeah. And which in a lot of those episodes, those artifacts that were given to him, now you can see on display at the museum.
Saw at Gein's Cauldron, for instance.
Yep. The cauldron, the shovel,
Yep.
What else did they do? They did a couple. Charles Manson's ashes. I think he talked to his Jesus Christ, his Lord
grandson,
Jesus.
granddaughter,
his grandson. Jesus Christ! I almost said grandfather. I could not get that out. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of those episodes you can watch and see those artifacts in person now.
Yeah, it's spooky. It's that's one of the reasons why we're going to be doing this little series for you guys, because we hear haunted places and stuff, but it's very rare we hear of like haunted and cursed objects. So this is the first episode of Deadly Possessions. So season 1, episode 1. Zach Bagans is interviewing the senior director from the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. She tells him the interesting and scary nature about Robert the doll. Nothing happens with Robert, but you can tell Zach is super intrigued. Meaning, like, Robert isn't moving or doing anything spooky. Zach is like, whoa, like, this is like a famous doll. He's in breathing room of me. This is amazing. So he can tell he's really excited. Just then, one of Zach's museum employees comes into the room to deliver a note of some kind to Zach. The employee goes by Theo. He says goodbye to Zach, turns to face the director, and says, "Oh my God, very nice to meet you." And then turns to Robert the doll and jokingly says, "Nice to meet you." Ah! And then runs out of the room. Very jokingly, very like slapstick, corny. So Zach is so visibly upset. And he looks at the senior director, and they both agree like that was really disrespectful. Especially like what is said about the doll. Especially when you're like disrespectful towards it. So after this little conversation happens between Zach and the director, Theo breaks into a coughing fit and he can't stop. So Zach then rushes to Theo's side and instructs him to go back into the room and apologize.
Yeah.
So Theo then goes back into the room, stands in front of Robert. He apologizes sincerely, and the coughing ceases. Yeah.
See? Don't feel bad for those people. They bring it on to themselves.
You can investigate Robert the doll at the museum. They do have a special tour called Robert the Doll Experience, and you get 1 hour with him. But to make it even crazier, they do lockdown experiences with the doll as well, where they will lock you down in there with him in the museum for 2 to 3 hours in darkness, and they give you all the equipment to investigate Robert.
No.
So I watched a few videos on the lockdown, and here are some like weird things that happened. Oh God, excuse me, I just burped. Pardon me. So this YouTube channel called Echo Travel Adventures, they brought a ghost box, and the ghost box would frequently pick up Robert saying stuff. So what a ghost box is, everybody, it's like a radio channel that goes through multiple radio channels as fast as it can, and it's said that spirits can pick words or phrases or sentences from it and communicate.
Yeah.
So these are some of the words. It's over. Don't go in that room. Listen. Eugene. Jean. And leave. But mind you, the voice that came through it never sounded childlike. You just sound like a deep grown man.
And that's the scary part about those kind of things, because they're like, oh, it's like a little kid that's possessed in the doll. No, it's not. It's usually not that.
Demon. So this is going to trigger you. Ready? So they would bring out a Ouija board to communicate, but got very weird responses that didn't make sense, or just like random letters. They would ask the spirits, is there anyone here that is connected or attached to this doll that wants to communicate? The planchette moves to yes. They ask the spirits to spell out its name, and it starts going back and forth between Z and O, spelling out Zozo.
No.
They think it's saying, they're like, oh, it's going to Y-O. No, bitch.
No.
It's clearly going to Z-O,
No.
Z-O, Z-O. So they keep asking it because I don't think that this group knew what Zozo was.
Yeah.
And they just were like, can you like focus, spirit, and stop going back and forth between Z and O?
No.
Right? And they were getting irritated. And I was laughing because I was like, bro, that's a demon you're communicating with. Because it kept doing this. And they're like, we need you to focus, spirit. I'm like,
no. Oh my God.
You guys are stupid.
But see, at that point, I don't even think it's Robert, though, because anytime that board is brought out, that is the easiest portal to that said demon. Like,
Yeah.
it's such an easy way for it to communicate. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, at that point they're dealing with something else, in my opinion.
No, I believe you. So after this, they felt cold spots, and often in EVPs, they would start to hear heavy breathing. And then some other videos I found, it was like a lot of the same stuff, or Robert wasn't communicating as much, or they would catch orbs. But there's not much out there in terms of like professional like investigations, like Paranormal State, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters. Like I really didn't find anything, which is shocking. It's such a famous doll.
Yeah.
Now, this is for you. You can buy replicas of Robert the Doll. But many say that owning a replica of him has caused spooky things to happen in and around their home. And I did watch a YouTube video of a guy whose replica of Robert the Doll was doing some weird poltergeist activity.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, also it's said that owning a replica of him can cause a series of bad luck and bad health. Honestly, sounds like the perfect gift for someone that you hate. But the replica of Robert the Doll is roughly like $30 US without shipping. And he comes with, it's a doll, and it comes with like a poster and like a book. Yeah, so you can purchase him, everybody, at robertthedoll.org, and you can test that theory for us. Yeah, let us know. So, here's the question for you campers. This is I like doing this on our episodes.
Yeah.
And it leaves the door open for you guys to communicate. And we love talking to you guys in our episode discussion channel to talk about this stuff. This is a really good one to talk about. And yeah, on our Discord. So what do you campers think? Do you think he's real? Do you think he's evil? Or is he just a doll? And are you willing to test that?
Ooh, best know I'm not. I already know he ain't. This is not just a dog.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, because I know the case is over. This is done. But I'm thinking that with all the negative energy that Eugene put into the doll and projected, added on top of everybody thinking that he's just spooky and putting just a negative vibe out there, that he too is made this a negative being of his own.
Yeah.
I do find it very interesting about the whole affair situation, and maybe they put the doll of that dead child in the doll, the child's spirit in the doll. That I find is really interesting. Because there's speculation there, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, and
where the parents
there's some evidence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm thinking like maybe William and Emmeline were like, yeah, fuck you, fuck your kids, fuck your happy life. We're going to curse your son's doll and put the spirit of your dead child basically in it.
Yeah. I think it's kind of tough. Honestly, I don't think it's the affair theory. I don't know. There's something that's telling me it's not. I want to say yes. A lot of the negativity energy he did put into it, Gene put into Robert. But I want to say, because spirits can just attach themselves in general. So I think maybe somehow it was attached beforehand, before it got to the family. The negative energy kept going. Maybe from negative energy from the affair too. Who knows? But I think it's more so it got added on, which made it worse. Or beforehand, before it started beforehand, it got worse with them.
Yeah,
I want to say
it's interesting. I don't know.
It really is.
Yeah,
it really is. I thought they did another episode with Robert on Ghost Adventures. I want to say.
No, I know they did one with Annabelle, and I know Zach Bagans touched Annabelle, and that's a big no-no.
Yeah, I'm looking for my phone. Sorry.
No, you're good. Well, they probably talked. I know they probably talked about it more in the episode. That episode that I didn't buy. But yeah, it was hard, honestly, to find like investigations on Robert on YouTube was pretty rough. It was a lot of people just covering his legend, And there were like
Yeah.
a couple like investigations, but they were all roughly the same. Or sometimes they would get answers that didn't make sense, so it wasn't that spooky. They'd be like, Robert, are you here? And then it'll be like, potato. And they're like, what?
Yeah, like
Robert, are you
excuse me?
here? Robert, is that you? Do you like potatoes? Basket. Like, the fuck? You know? So,
I
bit
want to
interesting.
say, am I mixing them up? Did they ever talk to Harold?
yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of Harold because
Yeah, because
they did
Anthony Quinata, they went to the Island of the Dolls and they brought Harold with them.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, never mind. So it wasn't
Yeah.
Robert. It was
And then
Harold.
Zach got bruises on his arm that looked like little baby fingers.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. Okay, yeah. I thought
Yeah,
it was
that was
Robert.
spooky.
I was confusing the two.
Yeah. Which I'm still blown away that I'm friends with Anthony Quinata, the guy that owns the doll on Facebook.
I know, that is pretty crazy.
It's so random. It's so random. I'll have to update you guys on that. I haven't checked if he's posted anything new about Harold. I'll have to check.
Well, you had some updates, but you were waiting for more just in case. But I know you said
Yeah.
there were some already. But we can
Yeah.
talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. But yeah, campers, I really hoped you enjoyed this cursed object haunted episode.
Yeah.
And there'll be many more to come. I know Devon and I, we asked you guys in our Discord on like what are some ideas. So far, no one's replied. I love that. But some of the ones that we have written down are the Dybbuk box, Annabelle, Bela Lugosi's Conjuring Mirror, or another one called the Black Mirror, Dead Man's Chair, and The Hand Resists Him painting, and also the Blue Boy Crying.
Oh, that one's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Why
we
not-
have some of those that we're going to talk about.
Why don't we give them
Soon.
a teaser of which one we're thinking of taking next?
So I know for sure I've claimed it. I really want to cover the Dybbuk box.
Ooh,
And that
I
was
see.
intense. And we saw that in person.
Oh, yeah.
And that
I like
room
you just
freaked
mentioning
me
it. You just mentioning it just like brought that heaviness. Like that's why I
But
took that biggest
but
sigh.
you know what was really weird though?
Ugh.
When I went into that room, I was so drawn to that box.
I remember you were glued.
Yeah, I was glued. Like I really wanted to just touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I remember, and I was like, "Hey, hello."
No, out of any room in that museum, that was the one I was like, I wanna touch the box.
Nope.
I know you're not
Nope.
supposed to, but like it was like calling me, Zakra,
Oh my god!
touch me.
Stop it! Stop! Stop it!
Yeah. So what are you gonna cover then?
I was
Homie.
thinking between Bela Lugosi's mirror because that was really interesting, and that one scared the poop out of me too. When we saw it in person, because I didn't look at it the first time when I went with you. I did.
Yeah.
The
I remember
second
you
time I went.
were like, no, thank you.
No, it made me want to cry in fear of. That's how scared I was of it.
Yeah.
And I felt nauseous in that room. So I'm thinking of either that one or I was kind of looking at more of the Dead Man's Chair, and I thought that one was pretty interesting too.
Yeah,
Originally, I
'cause it
thought
was-
it was when you posted about it, I thought you were talking about the Devil Made Me Do It chair. Because I was like, ooh, because I know there's videos of that one, and I know.
Yeah, and there's audio.
Yeah, and the
I mean, that one's good too.
the interview that Zach had with someone from what was it, ET?
Oh, E
And
News, right? And then
yeah,
it starts
and
on
he's-
its own.
Well, and he
Yeah.
sat in it and he
Yeah.
not believing it, and then he talked back to Zach later on and was like, I'm having severe back problems now.
Back problems. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm between those, I guess technically three right now.
Mine is Dybbuk box and Annabelle.
You playing a dangerous game, my friend.
I know both of them are really dangerous, especially Annabelle. Oh, and I just watched a Facebook Live of them transporting her from her travel case into her actual case, and it was so funny. I know we're kind of going on a rant, you guys, but just please, this is good. So, they were transporting her, this cursed haunted doll Annabelle from one case to another, her travel case into her at-home case in Ed and Lorraine Warren's occult museum. And the guy, I can't remember his name. Oh God, what's his name? The main guy that runs it now. He was like, "Yeah, we need to stain the wood on this before we transport her." I was like, you're trying to make her house look nice? You're trying to stain the wood? And I was like, what? Like, what? We get the lacquer, I guess. Like, let's go stain the wood. And then he finished his sentence. He was like, no, we're going to stain it with holy water.
That's what I thought.
Like,
okay.
That makes sense. Not the other one around.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's what I figured you were going to say.
Yeah, I was like, you're not dumb. But yeah, they moved her quick. And when the guy that picked him up, I mean, it looked like they just dunked his hands in holy water. They had a little spray bottle and like all over his arms. And they put him back in the case, Annabelle into her actual case. But one thing that irritated me when they put her back in there, they put her in there crooked. And I was like, just set her up straight. Because
she might do that herself.
Yeah, honestly, she probably will. She'll be like, oh, the motherfuckers, hold on. It gets uncomfortable. Yeah, but that's going to be a crazy case to cover. And I know a lot on that because I've read their case file on it.
Yeah.
In the book, The Demonologist, so I'm excited.
Where's the sage? Where's the...
Yeah, and this candle is still burning, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know how. It's like the smidge.
What the fuck?
It looks like it's just burning on the wax. I don't know.
So it be.
Let it be. All right, campers. So I do have a joke. It was written in today by one of your fellow campers. I put it on her story asking you guys to write in jokes. So let me pull it up. I'm excited. Okay, so it comes from... oh, God. How do I... Hold on.
Technology.
Wait.
Figure it out.
I know. Okay, that's on Instagram. It comes from heart_shades_for_me. Heart shades for me. And she's the one that comments on a lot of our posts. And I think she's really cool. Anyways,
I know. We love her.
Yeah, we love her. Woo. But she says, why did the Headless Horseman go into business?
Oh, shoot. Of course, I read it earlier, too, and I already don't remember. Oh, fuck. Why?
He wanted to get ahead in life.
Oh, my God. Yes. Jesus,
That was good.
I love it.
That was good.
I love it.
So thank you, Heart Shades, for me. Yeah, I just want to shout her out because she comments on all of our posts.
Oh, yeah, no,
and she's
definitely.
really cool. Yeah. Oh, she's a Disney admirer. She's from Reno, LA. Not to triangulate her or anything. Also, she has a Frida quote on her thing, and I love Frida Kahlo. So, you are a gold star camper in my book. So,
I love it. Oh yeah, definitely.
So I'll just do one joke this evening. That was good. Just one. Okay. Thank you, campers, for listening. Please follow us on Instagram at
@campinsomnia_podcast.
And you can also find all of our platforms in
our bio, which contains a link tree, which, like you said, you'll find everything we're at.
Everything. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Spotify's the biggest one.
Yeah, and
thank you, campers, for listening, and good luck trying to sleep tonight.
Yeah, good luck. Maybe do a little cleansing for yourself just in case. Say hi to Clarence hi, Clarence.
Hello, I am not haunted. I am a good boy.
Oh my God, his eyes! I forgot they open and close.
Wait. Oh.
But yes,
God,
get yourself comfortable up a bed, and good luck trying to sleep tonight.
Yeah, good luck, y'all. Bye.
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 Oh my God.